Okay, let's tell you about this disturbing development. The United Nations has slammed Britain's passing of a controversial immigration bill. The illegal migration bill will put an end, I do beg your pardon, access to asylum in the UK for individuals who unlawfully enter the country. The bill also prevents individuals from having refugee protection, and a dinghy, or rather a container ship that has been built to sort of look like townhouses, which has been referred to as an open-air prison, has arrived in the country. Professor Francesco Rizzuto is the Dean and Head of School of Law at Liverpool Hope University. Prof, this is so unbelievable, I lose my words. I do beg your pardon. Okay, let's introduce our viewers to this concept of this open-air prison, which the government doesn't believe it is.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, it beggars belief. I think 200 years ago, or roundabouts, we used to have prison ships. Well, this is a slightly more comfortable prison ship. I think that somebody in the United Kingdom has said that if would-be migrants see the conditions on this prison ship, it might actually encourage them to ignore the law and still come. So, to be perfectly candid, this is a crazy policy, and I guess the barge epitomizes how ill-conceived this is. Just to add for your viewers, the government also tried to hire 2 cruise liners in which to house migrants. And certainly in the region I live in, which is Liverpool, of course, the port has refused to dock these liners. So the policy is farcical, frankly, and it's designed to deter people from coming to the United Kingdom, but through a specific route. That is the crossing the English Channel. They really do not understand what desperation means, either to escape war or to escape famine, to escape economic hardship. The idea that this is going to frighten people so that they won't try and come here is simply misconceived. They only have to look at what happens in the Mediterranean, where, again, thousands of poor people drown, to realize that unfortunately, the desperate of the earth will do everything to escape their desperate situation.
The desperate of the earth. So for the purpose of a viewer who's wondering what this barge looks like, you can go online and check it out. But just imagine what should usually hold containers or crates is now got something that looks like townhouses that are floating, and apparently it can house some 500 people. What is it or about the United Kingdom's migration policy seems to be an issue? Because you speak to practitioners on the continent of Africa, for instance, and they'll tell you, well, intra-African migration is at its highest, but because of international media, we are made to understand that people who are making perilous journeys and who end up in the United Kingdom, for instance, are much more than those who are actually moving in the continent.
Absolutely right. Look, this is essentially a concocted, I hope people understand, this is basically a political game that is being played in the United Kingdom in particular, where they've turned migration into a test of political virility for the present Conservative government. We all know that actually migration, south-to-south migration in Africa and elsewhere in the world, is far, far higher than the 47,000 that apparently tried to cross the Channel this year. And even that compared to the hundreds of thousands that crossed the Mediterranean. No, this all stems from the Brexit debate and the anti-foreign perspective on Brexit, whether it was anti-Europeans, which then, of course, becomes anti-migrants full stop. But, of course, Brexit meant that some of the safeholds, if you like, some of the barriers that gave the British government a sort of frontier against the kind of flows that we're seeing now disappeared with Brexit. So it's a political test, and the worst of it, for your viewers to understand, is that the government has made it one of its 5 defining tests, that they would stop the boat people. This is this is not scholarly language I'm using, but this is a crazy policy. And the worst of it, of course, is that we have to bear in mind that this container, this barge, and other vessels are in order to house people that can't be housed elsewhere in the UK until, of course, the courts rule here, the Supreme Court, later on this year, on whether these people can now be sent to Rwanda. Is Rwanda safe? The policy is misconceived. It will not deal with the problem of population flows. It is, and of course, from a lawyer's point of view, it certainly breaches Article 31 of the Refugee Convention. It certainly breaches Article 34 by denying these people the right to become British citizens. It certainly breaches Article 33, where people are basically being expelled, especially if they're being expelled or sent to a country that is arguably not safe for them. So, and it also breaches the European Convention on Human Rights. Of course, you know, from a domestic point of view, those who favour this policy will say, our government, our parliament has passed a law. But it overlooks our international obligations. Sure. It also overlooks whether this policy can possibly grow.
I do beg your pardon. Unfortunately, that's all the time we can afford. But we definitely would like to invite you back onto the program so we can expand on this discussion. Francesco Rizzuto is the Dean and Head of Law at the School of Law at Liverpool University in the United Kingdom. Thank you.